Outstanding.
What's up, guys, and welcome back to the channel. I'm Andy, the middle-aged gamer, and this is the Tokyo Marui M45A1 in black. And boy, is it a beautiful gun. Now, before we get into it, I just want to say a huge thank you to those that have subscribed to my channel, that watch my videos, like, comment, all of that stuff. Thank you very much from the bottom of my heart. It's because of you guys that I do this. I want to put fair and honest reviews out there and content. You see it as I see it and keep it as raw as possible. So with that in mind, let's ask the question, what is the M45A1? Well, it is the last 1911 to be adopted by the US military, as you would say, specifically the Marine Special Forces, before their final adoption of now the M18, I believe, for the Marine Corps. They weren't happy with the M9A1 and its ballistics performance of the 9mm. Those boys in Special Forces prefer the 45 ACP. Fair comment. Can't argue with that. And they wanted something that was homegrown, built from the USA up, not Germany like with the H&K or Austria with Glock or all that jazz. So yeah, they did a absolute, how to say, right thing and contacted Colt and said, hey, look, for the next few years while the XM17 trials are going on, we want to actually update the current production M45, as it was designated then, or the MEU as we know it, and bring it into the 20th century. And that's what Colt did as a deal, which also saved Colt from bankruptcy back in 2010 when the contract was put across their, how to say, table. And out of respect, you'll see the 3 stars on the gun. These 3 stars are what actually symbol the, how to say, thank you to the Colt boss, as you would say, from those that created this pistol. And with that being said, let's have a look. Now, also, I just want to say, this was originally released in 2012 as for the Marine Corps in a, well, I'm not going to say horrible, but we all know it was a Marmite color, let's put it that way, of tan. It wasn't like H&K's 50 Shades of Tan or FN, which is palatable. It was a bright, vomit-inducing tan, which is why in around 2015-16, you saw around about 2,000 of them go on the surplus market as they quickly, 6 months into procurement, switched to black, which is brilliant. Now, let's take the lid off this awesome box. One thing you can note is the Novak sights here. This has actual replica Novak sights officially licensed from them, which is awesome. Now, as we lift it up, in the lid, you have your instruction manuals here and a few paper targets. We love the manuals because it's got the don't shoot yourself in the face or shoot your neighbor's dog, like you're going to. But with the rest being all in Japanese, it's pointless going through that unless you're a great Japanese speaker, which I'm not. So let's put that down there and let's lift this up and take a look at her. As you can see, it is beautiful. Straight away, you can already see that this is going to be awesome. It's been modernized. Now, you get the gun itself, and it says there, Colt Railed Government at the top, just here along the top. If we can pull it in, there you go. And you have your little box of tricks and your magazine. Now, before we open the gun itself, let's start with the little box of tricks, shall we? So, as you can see there, you have St. Michael Protectors, which is the emblem for the United States Marine Corps Special Forces. And as it says here, high kick, high grouping, gas blowback. That's a clue as to the performance of this. She does kick hard. Now, as you open it up, inside, you get your barrel plug, quite there, your dry fire adapters, your bushing and magazine tool, and as you can see there, your bag of BBs, which is awesome. Now, we'll move to the magazine first because that's had some changes to it, thanks to Tokyo Marui. Now, as you can see, this being the Tokyo Marui, you've got your Tokyo Marui made in Japan, but it's a darker color because the actual M45 uses a darker color. They'd modified the magazines from Colt from the silver ones, which were very beautiful but were fragile. After about 30 or 40 uses, you used to see the followers have issues, and feeding issues would occur because of it. So, to symbol the change, they basically blued the mags and make them nice and black. Now, Marui replicated that anodizing perfectly on this, which is awesome. They also changed the base plate, just like the real steel, to a more flusher fit. Your fill valve is here. But what they did do was some magic here. This is a 26 round mag. Now, for those of you who are speedy boys out there, that's awesome, because it means that it's only 2 shots less than a high capper mag, and yet it's half the size of a high capper mag, and it has half the volume. So your actual shots on a warm day is about 40 shots out of this. On a cold day, you'd be looking at a full mag of 26, and then maybe hitting the 30, 32 shots before it needs to be replaced. And yes, please use green gas on this one. It is one I would recommend. It is absolutely awesome, and it's a great work. But before you complain, every Tokyo Marui 1911 mag that they've ever produced will fit and feed in this gun. But if you want the correct colours, well, buy this one. They don't leak. This has been fully gassed since Christmas Day, and it's still there, still holding gas, etc. Now, let's have a look at the gun itself. Oh my god. First thing you notice, let's get rid of that, is the weight. The weight of this pistol is absolutely awesome. It feels like it's metal when you pick it up. You've got the cold touch, even though this outer side is like a shell of polymer. But if you feel here, you will notice it's not. Well, I should say down here at the bottom, you'll feel like, oh, there's something going on there. And we'll dive into that as we split this open. But first of all, I say the weight. Also underneath, you got your cleaning and jamming rod. Let's yeet that one out way. Let's take a look at this. Absolutely beautiful gun. Now, straight away, you've got your full metal, I would say, lanyard loop. I believe they think that soldiers of today are just like they were back in World War I when this was first adopted. Yep, they don't trust you yet. But that's still there. Now let's click that in. Okay. Now, you have your fully replicated G10 grips, which, as you can see, these are a lighter shade of grey with a black and medium grey checkering inside there, which is awesome. The tan version of this had a bright white, which is one of the reasons why they basically switched it from tan. You see, those boys in Special Forces want to own the night, and they can't own the night when they've got a gun as bright as the sun, you know, sort of like saying, look at me, and everyone basically finding out where they are and shooting them. So they need a darker gun, and so they went with the darker grips, which is absolutely phenomenal. Now, as we move up, you have your, I would say, magazine, oh, not magazine, I should say your grip safety. That's the word. Speak properly today. This is a full metal piece and has been extended here at the button so that anyone can easily grab hold of it, no matter which way you hold it, and you will always engage it. Even if you're like me and like to ride it high for a better purchase, you can actually get in there and it will always work. It's been nice and tuned correctly. The beaver tail has been extended and slightly widened, which is awesome. And as you can see, the hammer on this gun has been, how would you say, skeletonized. Now, moving slightly forward, you have your safety, which is nice, locks positive, and is ambidextrous, which is a big change. No longer have you got just the right-hand friendly, it's now left-handy friendly as well. Your magazine release, metal as well. All basic controls on this are metal, is the best way of saying it, which is reversible apparently. So you can reverse that, I've heard. Not that you want to, it's 1911 anyway. It runs quite simple. Your slide stop stroke release has been extended slightly outwards a little bit. Rather than going lengthways to make it like a race gun that you could easily drop it with your thumb, they made it so that you can, if you change your grip, or as you can see, you would sort of like, if I pull this out a second, lock the slide open, So for instance, I can slap it in, grab up with my thumb and drop the slide just like that, which is awesome. And it's easier to do it that way. Or you can slingshot it, which most people will be doing anyway. You have your metal trigger, which has been texturized and thinned. Now, they didn't skeletonize it because, again, this is designed for war, not for shooting IPSC targets at 5 meters or what have you very fast. This was designed to be reliable, but crisp and properly into that. If I get this in, we'll hold that down. You can see yourself, just pull it back, and it's literally about 2 millimeters of travel before it breaks, and then another 2 millimeter for reset. It's such a short reset and fire, so you can do quick fires. Now, again, part of the modernization was to add a rail system. Now, originally with the M45MEU, they would have a device that would attach here, or they would screw on an extra plate. Just like some of the high cappers from the 5.1 series, you have to punch a hole through the frame and then screw on a rail. That adds weight. So what they did was lightning cut it correctly on both sides and add a true Picatinny rail built into the actual frame itself, which is rigid and held laser zero, no problem. There's no flex, there's no bend. It's really good. Now, moving up, as you can see here, you've got your lovely, textures here at the front for your grips, which allow you to do your press checks, or you can move it across and, like I say, rack the gun. No problem. Your rear also very thick, very nice and positive to grip hold of. No one can mess around with that, which is really good. Now let's get to the markings. Let's see if we can get this to focus properly. Now, as you can see, you've got your Colt there, manufacturer, your 3 stars as a thank you to the CEO of Colt for saving them. That was actually the 3rd time the company has faced bankruptcy, by the way, hence 3 stars. And you have the USMC on this side, which is awesome. Your front, as you can see here, is traditional 1911 with bushing. So we can move now up to the top. Now, you do have a full set of Novak sights on this. Now, on the real steel, there's 2 versions I've seen, some with tritium inserts, and as you can see with this one, no tritium, it's white dots. But as you can see, you can easily see the white dots. They're clearly visible in daylight, no problem. And if you really wanted to, you could just switch the night sight versions on there, or if you want to do, you can actually drill them and put fishing lures in there for tritium inserts. On the other side, as you see, you have your ambidextrous safety, which is awesome. The only thing that's not actual, Colt related is this here. For legal reasons, it says tokyomarui.co.uk, made in Japan. It's small and out of the way. You do have your serial number to the gun, which is here. Your QR code is there, just like on the real steel. And I'll see if we can get that in there. But you should, there it is, have your registration, number, everything there. And you've got the US stamp in it. Colt government model, because it's based off of that. Now, on the top, as it should see, is the Colt 45 Auto NM and Navy Marine, I guess. Now, one thing you can see is the color of the barrel. It's a gunmetal gray rather than the bright silver that the tan had. Again, it's all about suppressing the light and stopping them from being seen. Anything on a soldier in the dark who's trying to own the night, just a little bit is enough to give away their presence, and that's something they want to sort of like get rid of, you know. Now, the screws for the grips are steel, by the way. They're properly replicated as it should be. And that brings us to the overview of the outside. So, let's take this awesome pistol outside and shoot this thing. Okay, I'm going to use green gas and 0.2 gram BBs. And that brings us to an average of 315 FPS, 9.4 joules. Oh, that's nice. Awesome. Okay, so that's a hard hitter and it's hard kicking.
let's step it back to 10 meters and let's see what she's like on her accuracy test. Okay, I think I've got a bit of overhop, but look at that grouping. The odd one missing. I mean, this is 6 inches across, 6 inches down. That's not bad.
Okay guys, as you can see, this gun hits hard, shoots hard, and is bloody accurate. It's a deadly gun out there. Certainly one that you should consider as a secondary or even a primary for you speedy boys out there that just want to run something different than a 5.1 1911. Oh, say 2011 is the right word. Now, with that being said, let's take a look at the insides. So we move that back. Now I'll remove the mag, and before we look inside, let's just put the gun down there. I'll show you what the barrel tool or bushing tool is for as well. You can actually hook it here, sliding it down. Oh, come out, there it goes, and lock it in to the bottom of the mag. Doing that basically allows you to easily, how to say, load the BBs in. Then you just lift up and roll it back. So just thought that'd be cool to have a look at. Now, with this, we want to set the hammer back. It makes everything easy. We'll line up to the takedown position, pop the pin from the other side, allowing us to pull this pin out and separate the slide. Now, before we have a look at the lower part, I'll point out that this roller pin, as you would say, is the exact same one that's on the DOR. So if you own one of them, you can actually pop theirs in on this. It works. And it's better because it means that as the slide is reciprocating and the barrel tilts, it doesn't put too much wear on your pin, which I've seen so many of them snap in half. So that's awesome. Now, one reason why this is really heavy is because, as you can see here, everything from where that screw is there all the way back is solid milled aluminum. It's a full aluminum skeleton inside that goes the entire length. All this is on the outside is just a cover, a polymer cover for Japanese law. But because it gets cold and because the touch is just right, you wouldn't even think it was polymer. It's that good. Now, like I say, in here, everything is as smooth as it can be. You've got your, how to say, the complete rail side on the right with the interrupted here on the left because you have your magazine and, how to say, follower that will pop up and push up the slide stop, etc. So that function needs a gap. But other than that, it's completely nice. Your hammer is strong and rigid. You have your sear disconnect. Speaking of your sear inside, if I pull the safety in, boom, as you can see, that little sear down there is actually not so little, it's quite thick and is awesome. You can pop it back in, the sear there. And obviously that's your trigger disconnect stroke reset. It's absolutely awesome, and being a lot of metal in there, you know that the lower side is going to last. Now, here's where things get really interesting. Let's have a look at the slide. As you can see, it's a short guy rod, which is awesome, but the actual blowback, how I say, and the hop-up chamber is from the DOR, so you have the same performance out of that, which is amazing. So to take this off, we'll hold on to the hop chamber, pull down a bit on your little guide rod, and you take out your rod and recoil spring. We then push on the button at the front to just release that and pull out. This is another proper full metal part, which is awesome. And now we get to this part, which is actually quite annoying, I would say. And the reason I say that is you would put the tool on, tip it to about 45. Now,
just in case, you're better off checking through it to make sure that the takedown is in place, and then push the slide forward a little bit and try to, how to say, get it out. Because it is so stiff, it's hard to actually pull until you get that going a little bit. There we go. There we go. After you've done it a few times, it will come out. Again, another metal piece, as you can hear. Then your whole barrel and hop assembly will come out. Yes, it's a polymer barrel, but that means it's going to stay nicer and shiny, and cool down is going to be less in the gun. Okay, now here's your actual slide. As you can see, you've got your lovely metal reinforcement ribbing where it would break with your steel slide lock, stroke release, and your milled aluminum blowback housing. Now this is running on rollers, which smooth out the recoil. It is so good. There's no friction, there's no grit like many of the others, including the VFC that was recently released. It is just awesome. Now this features the, like I say, the 15mm piston head for the blowback, which is awesome. The milled aluminum piston shaft, all connected into the blowback housing, and is easily removable with a screw here, and the rest just starts to come out. And also, I believe, your hex screw up here on the top. But yeah, this is an absolute beautiful piece of kit. I don't know any, how would you say, better 1911 style gun on the market. Now, once we've done that, you can put everything back in if you wish. It's completely up to you. But yeah, it's just that here is so stiff to try and get out. It's ridiculous, you know? You have to get it right. You have to be able to pull on it correctly. And it's just a nightmare. You can feel it with your finger. It's so tight. It's good for us. It means that the whole barrel won't move or shift. But assembly and disassembly is just, as you can see, you get your other reinforcements around the front here. So, let's click our fingers and get this thing back to, how to say, normal. So, first of all, to reverse everything, we put that in there. Slide your barrel and hot chamber right back to the back. Get your barrel bushing. Place it over the barrel, and we've got to now just slide it back in. There it goes. Clicks in like so. And then you can turn it back. Just to make sure you got it aligned, grab your tool. Obviously, when you watch the real steel being disassembled and you're like, how the hell can they do it like that? Well, that's because a lot of it's done off camera. Then take your actual guide rod bushing, push that straight back. You need to use this. Slide your recoil rod in, slide your guide rod in to make sure it compresses correctly, because if not, it gets all bent, and you don't want a bent recoil spring. It's not good. That's all. And in it goes. And as you can see, this is all aluminum. That's your nice little, how to say, buffer for the actual guide rod, which is awesome. And it's simple to reassemble. Just put back on the slide. We'll slide it back to here. And click here, put you in, and click. Make sure for the function test, hold that down, and there she goes for gas. So yeah, about 40 shots on a lovely day. And there we go. There we have it, as you would say. The M45A1. So, hopefully if you've got this far in the video and you love the content, as I say, please subscribe, leave a comment, let me know what you're interested in, what guns you want to see this year coming on the channel. You know, if it's possible, I'll have it on there. I'm currently waiting for one special gun that's been requested, and it should hopefully be here within a week or two. And it being in rose gold should actually give you a hint as what's coming. But yeah, There are more guns on the way, and like I say, it's awesome. You guys are amazing. I've been the middle-aged gamer, and you guys have been awesome. So let's keep this up and see you in the next one. Whoa, hey, hold up. No. While I've got your attention, one guy actually did ask me, how do I fill the mags on the 416? So I just thought I'd put this at the end of this video for you to show you how I do it. Now, as you can see, the 416 has no follower to pull down at all. So if you have the original speed loader that came with it, that little adapter will fit on pretty much 99% of all of the speed loaders that you can use. Keep that adapter. If you do, it goes down like this, and you can just push it down and get 30 rounds in there, no problem. But if you lose it and you're stuck to a speed loader like I have here, my Marui one, the tip is simple. Hold the magazine where it's curving towards you, put your finger over the back, pinch it together like this, and just hold tight, and you can easily speed load these mags in seconds and put 30 BBs in there, no problem. And they will fit easily enough. That's the easiest way to do it. It's just getting used to pinching here, or holding your finger in and pinching the front and the speed loader as well as the feed libs front and back, and just press the plunger and it'll start feeding them in. Very simple. Don't try feeding them through the front, because if you are going to do that, use the adapter piece of a normal speed loader, fit it straight first like this, but then angle it up like that, about 15-degree angle off. And as you can see, that will feed in easier. But if you do it straight on, it's too much resistance and you'll end up damaging your feed lips. But down from the top, as you can see, there's, if I can get it in focus for you, but there is a slight little rounder cutout inside that allows the BBs to go straight down through the top a lot more easy. There's a lot more play. So yeah, thought I'd share that, and literally we're done. I'll see you in the next one. You guys are awesome.